The March 1st, 2026 topic at Red River Unitarian Universalist Church was the name of love, presented by the worship team and Reverend T.J. FitzGerald via video. In his sermon, The Name of Love, Reverend T.J. FitzGerald from First Unitarian Church in Dallas reflects on Martin Luther King Jr.'s message for us in troubled times. Drawing from Dr. King's teachings on agape love, nonviolence, and moral courage, this UU sermon explores what it means to live with purpose when fear, injustice, and division feel overwhelming. It looks honestly at the tension between love and resistance, and why Dr. King believed real love always carries a cost. Welcome from Red River Unitarian Universalist. Thank you for joining us. The religion we practice in this church is centered in the here and now, rather than the hereafter. It is more of a thinking kind of religion than a believing kind. It is governed more by reason than by tradition, more concerned with the present than the past. It is concerned with getting the most out of life, with living wisely and well. A major aim for us is continually expanding our understanding of life and ourselves. This church is a community of people who share in the free and open search for a level of understanding that will enable us to be more fully and effectively alive. The church does not tell us what we must believe. It stimulates us to think. It supports us in our search. You are welcome to join us. Our centering value is love, with transformation, generosity, equity, interdependence, justice, and pluralism. Welcome, all who seek renewal in a weary world. Welcome, all who come with love and energy to share. Welcome to those who worry for the future. Welcome each one of you who is grateful for today. Know that in this place, you are not alone. In community, we share our strength with one another, and we keep the flame of love burning bright. Know that in this place, responsibility is shared. Here, tradition holds us. Ancestors shine a light from the past. Here, the young lift their bright faces and beckon us onward. Take my hand, and we can go on together. Let us worship together. As is our custom, if you would like to come and light a candle for a joy, a challenge, or just to bring more light into this room, please do so while we sit in stillness listening to the prelude.
There is more love somewhere. there is more joy. There is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. Oh, don't you stop until you find it. There is more joy. There's more love. There's more hope. There is more hope. There's more peace. There is more love. There is more love somewhere.
Please rise in body or spirit for our chalice lighting, peace candle, and spoken affirmation. Our chalice lighting words are called The Spark of Love by Anastasia Brioche. The spark of love resides in us all. We are free to act from it or not. We choose love. How will love shape what we do? If we choose love, how will it improve our actions? If we choose love, how will I treat those around me? If I choose love, will I find it when life gets hard? If I choose love, will you also choose love? Love begets love, and it is love that lights our chalice. Join me together as we remind ourselves of the affirmation that is a cornerstone of our free faith tradition. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in freedom, and to help one another. We're going to be lighting this peace candle to remind us of all the places, now with Iran 28, in the world where there is no peace. Join me in the words now on the screen. Lead me from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead me from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead me from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, our universe. You may be seated. The next is one of our UU snippets, and it's called Volunteer Appreciation and Awards Celebration. The volunteers truly are the lifeblood of Red River UU. Quite simply, we wouldn't be here without them. Back when I was president, we started a tradition called the Appreciation Dinner to say thank you. Usually, we'd gather on a Thursday night for a meal hosted by the church, but this year, we're doing things a little differently. We invite all of our members, friends, and family to join us on Saturday, March 7th, from 2 to 4 p.m. here at the church for a special celebration. A highlight of this event is presenting the Bruce Cameron Distinguished Service Award. We named this award in honor of Bruce, who did the incredibly heavy lifting of renovating this building when we first bought it back in 2011. His wife, Carolyn, was our first recipient for her steady support of both Bruce and our congregation. Today, we continue that legacy by honoring individuals who go above and beyond to help our community thrive. If you're curious about who has received the award in the past, take a look at the plaque hanging in the back by the AV desk. We can't wait to see you there Saturday and celebrate the people who make this church a home. It would be helpful to know if you will be attending, how many will be in your party, and your potato preference, white or sweet. To that end, there is a sign-up sheet in the foyer. Jim?
Completely unprepared. So every year around this time, we start our stewardship campaign. In February, the finance team, i.e. Carol, with Marilyn and Jim taking part of the credit, puts together a proposed budget by looking at expenses for this budget for this year. And because this year ends on June 30th, projecting out what additional expenses would be. From that, we come up with how much money we think we need to run the church for next year. And that determines how much income, where we get our income from, and what our pledge campaign target should be. Our proposed budget this year is $50,400. Of that, 52% is facilities, and the building's paid for, so that's just what it takes to run the building. 27% is worship, 8% is outreach, and 13% is administrative. So there's not a lot of wiggle room once we have the fixed cost of the building and the wonderful money that we spend for the wonderful worship services that the worship team puts together. So our new budget year will start July 1st. Once we get pledges in, we will make adjustments to the proposed budget, and it will be voted on in our spring congregational meeting in May. So as you look around, think about all the things that you like about coming here, all the friends you have, any additional things you wish that we would be doing when you come up with a number that you feel comfortable with. We don't hold you to this number. It's more of your best guess so that we can do our best guess for the budget. So we look forward to receiving your pledges and starting off our new year on July 1st. Thank you.
Now the commercials are over. Our opening thought this morning are words from the 1966 Ware Lecture by Martin Luther King Jr. It was presented at the UUAGA. Victor Hugo once said, "There is nothing more powerful in all the world than an idea whose time has come." The idea whose time has come today is the idea of freedom and human dignity. And so all over the world, we see something of a freedom explosion. And this reveals to us that we are in the midst of a revolution, of revolutionary times. An older order is passing away, and a new order is coming. The great question is, what do we do when we find ourselves in such a period? Certainly, the church has a great responsibility, because when the church is true to its nature, it stands as a moral guardian of the community and of society. It has always been the role of the church to broaden horizons, to challenge the status quo, and to question and break mores if necessary. I'm sure that we all agree that the church has a major role to play in this period of social change.
gentle, angry people, and we are singing for life. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for life. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for lives. We are hurt and weary people, and we sing for lives. We are hurt and weary people, and we are singing for lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing for life. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing for lives.
Our first reading is again from 1966 for the Ware Lecture by Martin Luther King Jr. I would like to suggest some things that the church must continually do in order to remain awake through this revolution. First, we are challenged to instill within the people of our congregations a world perspective. Secondly, it is necessary for the church to reaffirm over and over again the essential immorality of racial segregation. There is another thing that the church must do to remain awake. We must get rid of the notion once and for all that there are superior and inferior races. The next thing that the church must do to remain awake through this revolution is to move out into the area of social action. The church must engage in strong action programs to get rid of the last vestiges of segregation and discrimination. Join now in our time of practices with words, stillness, and music. Our words are from Agape Love by Monica Clark Robinson, and it's been slightly adapted. Love is the spirit of this church. Many UU churches begin services with this phrase, and it's a worthy principle. But can we go further? Can we try? There's a word I invite you to contemplate this morning: agape. Agape love. A radical, quiet, boundless, unconditional love. Agape love is the love we have for God, for the universe, for the interconnected web, for whatever words for spirit make your soul sing. Agape is also the love Spirit has for us. And if we can find God in the face of everyone we see, we can have agape love for others. And even imagine, even for ourselves. Then we'll understand what our worth, that our worth doesn't depend on how many Valentines we got, or if our girlfriend or boyfriend thinks we're cute, or if our mother said, "I love you," often enough? Can we let everything that isn't capital L love fall away just for a while and try, as the song says, to hold the whole world in our hands? Can we love ourselves enough to remember that we too are divine? Can we love others enough to care deeply about what matters to them, even if we don't understand it? Can we love the world enough to give part of ourselves in service, even in sacrifice, to its wholeness? Can we love spirit enough to let it in when it comes knocking, as it is right now, in this moment? Come in, love, and welcome all. Join me for a moment of silence. Our second reading continues Martin Luther King Jr.'s words from the Ware Lecture in '66. It is necessary to get rid of one or two myths if we're going to engage in this action and this kind of an action program. One is the notion that legislation is not effective in bringing about the changes that we need in human relations. A second myth that we must deal with is that of exaggerated progress. We should be proud of the steps we've made to rid our nation of this great evil of racist segregation and discrimination. On the other hand, we must realize the plant of freedom is only a bud, not yet a flower. Most revolutions in the past have been based on hope and hate, with the rising expectations of the revolutionaries implemented by hate for the perpetrators of the unjust system in the old order. I think the different thing about this revolution that has taken place in our country is that it has maintained the hope element. At the same time, it has added the dimension of love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering to the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering to the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering to the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering to the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide. Reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering to the call of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are answering to the call of love. We are answering to the call of love.
I learned something after the first service. There is no service but your service, but there is another service. After it, someone told me that it was Bert Moore, a member of this church when he was a student at Southern Methodist University, who sent a letter to Dr. King asking him to come address the student body, and who also picked him up at the airport and got him where he was going. So I wanted to mention that. Is Lynn here? No. Lynn Kirk, who is still a member of the church, was her husband, Bert, who passed in a few years ago. So at the end of that speech, or during that speech, one of the things that he says, Dr. King, is that love is understanding, creative goodwill for all men. When you stand up against the evil system and yet understand the perpetrator of that evil system. I'm not at understanding yet. Just giving you that as I start. I don't know if I'm at love yet. I like to think I am. I don't know much for certain these days. I don't know about you, but that's just how I'm feeling. This reading is an excerpt, as we heard from that speech. And the section we read today is a discussion of the ways that the Greek language, which is the language of many of the Christian scriptures that Dr. King studied well and that we have today, the way that they talk about love. And it should be clear to you, as it's now clear to me, that among the many things Dr. King was to the world, one of those things was a total nerd. Do not fight me on this, church. He quotes Shakespeare in this speech and talks about wooing Coretta with it, nerd. Talks about Greek, the meanings and the uses for it, and philosophical thought and in Plato, where today he would be forbidden from teaching Plato at Texas A&M, doing a little name check there. Although, as we established, he's only forbidden from teaching from symposium, but I think the Phaedrus is still fair game. This is nerd recognizing nerd here. The Wings of Desire, anyone? The Phaedrus? Okay, anyway, more on that later. So, why do you guys let me up here? You're very kind, thank you. You know, we think of the event that brought Dr. King into national consciousness, the boycott, the bus boycott that started when Rosa Parks would not move one seat back from where she was. And we focus on Dr. King's leading of nonviolent direct action, and those things taught him a lot. They taught him what it felt like to get hated in this country. Indeed, Time magazine called him the most hated man in America. Hated by white supremacists, people who believed that their birthright was to control this nation, its resources, and the people in it by the imagined virtue of their birth. And through the actions that Dr. King and his community led, he unveiled this hatred to the world. Every one of those actions was born not only of instinct, not only of talent, but from deep analysis of history, strategic planning to accomplish his desired result. Even if the perpetrators of hate were too dim to know it, what people who hated Dr. King hated about him most was that he was smarter than they were. That's right. And plenty of people in Dallas hated and feared Dr. King too. Cannot forget this. White and black leaders in Dallas, for different reasons, had experienced the tremendous violence of this city already through the 40s and the 50s, not to mention Fort Worth, who were afraid that Dr. King's presence would stoke the flame of racial violence already present here into a fire, though, that would engulf the entire city. One story Reverend Peter Johnson told right here last year in a program by your Racial Equity Task Force goes that Dr. King arrived once at the airport and was met by black preachers of the city and invited to go back on his airplane and to leave town. That was the early 50s. But even in this city, we can see the truth about the fear that those leaders had. We live in a city that was afraid not so much of Dr. King, but what he agitated in the worst elements among us that agitates so many right now that we are seeing, agitates hate and violence. In 1963, Dr. King was convinced by Bert to come to Dallas and speak. Oh, sorry, that's in 66. In 63, he was convinced by another group to come and speak at Fair Park, the Fair Park Auditorium. Now, even black leaders in Dallas, including Juanita Craft, who was a friend of Rosa Parks, they were friends, and a tremendous leader in this city, even Juanita Craft was not 100% on board in 63 with having King in the city, because the fear of the violence he might trigger was very real. One article about his speech here talked about one protester outside of the speech proclaiming that Hitler was not radical enough, that Hitler was too moderate. And there were bomb threats being called in to Fair Park to prevent him from speaking. These are the kinds of tactics being used then, not unfamiliar to what we are seeing now. He came anyway and spoke. Though I can't find a transcript, if anyone has one, I'd love to see it. Please send it to me. We do have some quotes from the speech that were taken in real time by reporters as he delivered it. One thing that he says was this: live up to the best that is within you. Live each day as if it were your last day on earth. Rise above the trite experiences of life and elevate your life into a sphere of radiant and peaceful union with your inner self and your personal relationships. May this year be your best year yet. Right. And these are beautiful sentiments and strong ones, appealing keenly to religious and non-religious attendees alike, and very much like many of the quotes we see from Dr. King today in social media, commercials. But then Dr. King said something else that many in the audience in Texas believed was going a bit too far. A lot of pearls being clutched in the moment. I dare say some here still might think what he said then is going too far, but he said, I quote, "If a man has not found something worth dying for, he isn't fit to live." You hear that, right? That's also Dr. King, friends. The saint among men, yes, who through peaceful physical action demonstrated his resolve over and over to bring an end to segregation or to try, and is a good and well-meaning image of Dr. King to project and to remember. That's right. But that truly, friends, and I believe this in my heart of hearts, was but an outward expression of an inward truth, a real truth that he felt. He knew through the study of history, alongside the study of Scripture, that any life of real meaning has real costs. To challenge the supremacy of one perceived race over another perceived race, knowing fully that race is an entirely constructed idea, costs you. To counter a culture that prizes wealth to the extent that the poor are marginalized, made to suffer needlessly, great costs. Amen. And to call for an end to militarism in our nation and abroad, deadly costs, I dare say. Supremacy, inequality, and military might, the three pillars of his calls to action, are sensitive things to challenge here in the United States, and sensitive things for him to challenge in 1963 in Dallas, and maybe still today in Dallas. Underneath the outward demonstrations that eventually sparked changes in our world and in this city was a sublime and gifted intellect, no doubt, married, though, with an ability to teach and connect to people through love, all resting, though, on this hard truth. It was his truth that the God of his understanding loved the world so much that this love overflows its boundaries and spills out into the world, into the form of love he called agape, which literally means love feast, a feast of love, communion, get it? At the table. It is the love that says life is a bounty for all to take, so no one need ever go hungry of the divine blessing of connection, of community for him through the sacrifice made by Jesus that rings still in the sanctuaries of this world, near and far, or it should. It's hard to love some in the world right now, I know. It's hard to see the hate on the face of a federal agent gunning an innocent woman down in the street and wonder, is there a just God? a God of love? It's hard to see agents filling the streets of a city targeted and provoked into action through violence and intimidation of neighbors, of their beloveds, of their family. And those of you I know how this feels, who lived through those times or who have studied them well. In the times of Dr. King, I can't imagine how it feels, how triggering, how awful to see those images again on American streets again. A few months after delivering the speech at SMU, Dr. King, as Beth mentioned in our story, had another engagement to speak of the Unitarian Universalist General Assembly and deliver the Ware Lecture, one of the highest honors our denomination can bestow. And in that speech, Dr. King took the time to expound further on the power of agape. In his explanation, he said this: when one rises to love on this level, he loves a person who dares the evil deed, who does the evil deed while hating the deed. I believe that in our best moments in this struggle, we've tried to adhere to this. In some strange way, we have been able to stand up in the face of our most violent opponents and say, in substance, we will match your capacity to inflict suffering with our capacity to endure suffering. We will meet your physical force with our soul force. Do to us what you will, and we will still love you. We cannot, in all good conscience, obey your unjust laws because non-cooperation with evil is as much a moral obligation as is cooperation with good. Amen. Right. Throw us in jail, and we will still love you. Threaten our children, bomb our homes, send your hooded perpetrators of violence into our communities at the midnight hours. Sounds a lot like today. And drag us out on some wayside road, beat us and leave us half dead. And as difficult as it is, we will still love you. Send your propaganda agents around the nation and make it appear we are not fit morally, culturally, or otherwise for integration, and we will still love you, but be assured that we will wear you down by our capacity to suffer, and one day we will win our freedom. We will not only win freedom for ourselves, we will so appeal to your heart and your conscience that we will win you in the process, and our victory will be a double victory. This is our message of the nonviolent movement when we are true to it. Yeah. And in this speech, he said it again to a room of Unitarian Universalists. If a man has not found something worth dying for, he isn't fit to live. Let's all breathe. With the tools of intellect, enormous love, and unstoppable, effective action, he created in others something they truly dread. He created that thing people hide from at all cost. He created something keeping all our therapists employed and bar rooms full. He created tension. He created long-standing tension in relationships. In his letter addressed to white moderates penned in the Birmingham jail, he says, I'm not afraid of the word tension. I have earnestly opposed violent tension, but there is a type of constructive nonviolent tension which is necessary for growth. We who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of the tension. We merely bring to the surface the hidden tension that is already alive. Religion, as it was said by Forrest Church, is the human response to the dual realities of being alive and having to die. That is the tension knit into our bodies, into our minds from the time we break forth to breathe into this world. It is the tension that winds the clock springs of our lives, that sets us into motion even if we don't know that's what's doing it. We are creatures of tension. We are creations of that tension that is each of our inheritances as humans whose breaths are numbered from birth. It is the tension that lets a great leader challenge us all from down the street and from the dais of this faith's annual meeting all the way right here, right now, with the proposition that I paraphrase now, if you haven't found something worth dying for, you aren't truly living. And I tell you true. Preachers all over this country right now, in this moment, perhaps for the first time in their careers, are asking their congregations and the beautiful people in them, have you found something truly worth living for? Or harder, worth dying for? It's too often confused, this idea, though, with the question of a coward who asks only what's worth killing for and forgets what is worth dying for, because it's the tension underneath every life. It's the question every true patriot asks. Which is why when a call went out this week for clergy around the country to be present in Minneapolis in solidarity with those being attacked in the streets, dragged from their homes, dragged from their cars, and shot in cold blood, your church, this church, answered. Our friends asked for help. We're going to get their backs. I leave in a few days to be in Minneapolis with the folks there. Hundreds of clergy from around the country are arriving to show that people of faith are people of love still, braver than bullies and more ferocious than any feckless thug, parading around the streets that they swore to frickin' protect. And that love is still stronger than hate. Down the street, right here, Dr. King began the poem to woo his love, Coretta, yes, with love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds. It bends with the remover to remove. Oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. That's where love begins. But it also has the last word. Sonnet 116 ends like this: love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. It's at the edge of doom where love lies. It's at the edge of doom where purpose grows. It's here, at the edge of doom, where lives a faith held by a community of understanding that begs courage of us. Courage to believe what great value your life is, that is given in the name of others, that is blessed by the sacred tension underlying all we do, all we can ever be, all we'll ever love. The last words Dr. King spoke were to Ben Branch, the musician, planning to play that evening at the rally for sanitation workers in Memphis, as they were leaving the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was slain. The last words he said were, Ben, make sure you play Take My Hand, Precious Lord, in the meeting tonight. Play it real pretty. The final verse of this song, Standing at the River, it's asking us how we'll feel when we face our final hours and cross over into what lay there for each of us, what may find a home. And so in the name of all that's holy, friends, I pray we know we did all we could for justice in this life. In the name of mercy, I pray we know that we eased suffering in this life. And in the name of love, I pray we each find what is worthy of our love and what is worthy of our sacred lives. Amen. May it ever be so. Blessed be, and amen.
It is time now for our giving. Remember that every offering is a Share the Bowl offering, where undesignated cash is given to the Texoma Homeless Shelter and the Texoma Earth Day Festival. The bowl awaits, or you may donate online. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the benediction and extinguishing the chalices. Our benediction today is two last quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And the second one is, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish these flames, but not the light of truth, the warmth of humanity, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace, return in love.
you.